Hello and welcome to Epic Blocks. Today we're going to do another simple, fully automatic farm. And today we're going to do an ominous bottle farm. We're going to use that pillager outpost over there. Now you can probably find a lot of videos on the ominous bottle farm using the pillager outpost, but as I've looked through those videos, I've noticed they pretty much always build this farm in creative or in peaceful mode. I'm going to show you at least how I think the best way to approach this in survival mode would be, and these are the materials we're going to need. I'll start off here at the bottom. I do recommend having some armor with protection or projectile protection on it. Let me go ahead and grab these, and I'm going to grab a bow. I usually prefer mending, but in this case I think unbreaking and infinity will serve us a little better. That way we don't have to carry as many arrows. Hopefully we don't really need many, but we'll keep those handy just in case as well. We're going to have a shield so we can protect ourselves a little bit. We will probably not need the pickaxe, but I'm going to keep it handy as well. And I'm bringing half a stack of temporary blocks. I really don't expect to need those. By the point we get to where we're going to need some temporary blocks, we should have access to plenty of others from digging. Anyway, and then this top row, these are the tools that I would recommend bringing for our approach. You might notice I'm up on the side of a hill or cliff or mountain, whatever you want to call this, and we are going to approach the outpost from above. So if you happen to have some type of cliff or hill nearby, I would start there. Don't want to start too far away because then you'd have to bring a whole lot more blocks. But anyway, let me go ahead and suit up. There we go. The water bucket or the gravel, actually you could use either one. I think the water bucket is probably a little easier to begin with, the gravel a little bit better for long-term thinking. And I'm bringing about half a stack of gravel. That should be a lot more than we actually need. Probably only looking at about 10 or so. Same for the ladders. We can use the ladders here where we are starting, and we'll want some on the other side when we're dropping onto the outpost. You could use scaffolding as well. I do have scaffolding here, which we'll use later on. That's going to be for our AFK spot. And I do have a stack of torches. That should be more than we actually need, but I'm going to keep those handy. The amount we need for our path over to the outpost may vary. And then I have enough here for 6 iron golems, so those are my blocks of iron and carved pumpkins. If you prefer, you could do regular pumpkins and bring some shears. And then 1 stack of cobblestone walls. You can use any wall. I'm going to bring 12 trapdoors. We only technically need 8, but the 4 extra I think will come in really handy, and we'll get to that in the build. And then for our collection system, we'll need 12 hoppers, 8 chests, 12 campfires. If you've been to the nether and you have soul sand or soul soil, then soul campfires work a little bit better. And then, excuse me. And then we'll also have 120 scaffolding. Alright, let's go ahead and grab all of these then. And we're going to go ahead and start off by filling in our path over. I'm actually going to go to this spot here, should be fine. And I want to go a little bit higher, so I'll go ahead and start going up. And fill in some ladders along the way. And no need to put the ladder on the bottom spot, especially from here we can simply jump up. That ought to be high enough. Fill in these ladders here. And I'm going to go ahead and start just by placing a torch here. We could wait till we're a little bit down the line. But the pillagers can spawn around the pillager outpost. Anywhere we have a light level below 7, if I remember correctly. So we're going to want to space torches out regularly. So that's a light level 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And then we would want this one to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the light level here will be 14 once we place that torch. And so right in the middle we should be at light level 8. Alright, so we're at 9, 8. So that should be ideal for making sure that we don't have any pillagers spawning on our path. And so that's every 13 blocks. You might notice the pillagers below me have taken notice, but they can't shoot me from this distance. So this is why I like to approach from above. And almost done with our first stack, so we've covered quite a bit of distance. We've gone up a few blocks and over, using a total of 60, so we've probably gone about 55 over. I'm going to change direction. Alright, we're pretty close to the center. I think we're off by 1 or 2 blocks, but that's alright. We'll start going back this direction. And this is where we could use the water. We can simply place it right here on the side of that block, and that gives us our elevator up and down. It's also going to push a few of the pillagers out of the way, at least on one side. But honestly, I think I prefer the gravel, so I'm going to go ahead and just place gravel here. I can jump off to that point. We'll place some ladders. And then it doesn't matter if you're using gravel or solid blocks, but I would fill the rest of this in. And a couple more ladders there, of course. Alright, now while we're up here on top of the pillager outpost, let's place a few torches on the outer edges. I'm going to put one on each of the corners as well. There's already one there. Did I miss it on this side? Okay. So I think it's supposed to have those torches, but seems to be missing from the one side. So if that is the case, you want to make sure you cover that in. And then we'll go ahead and dig out a hole right here in the middle. And get your bow ready. We can look around. Let's see. Don't see any pillagers there. Gonna go ahead and grab some more gravel. Alright, no pillagers on this level. And we don't need this gravel here anymore. I'm going to go ahead and put a temporary block in the staircase. That way nobody comes up to visit until I'm ready to go down. And I will place some more torches on the outer edges. So one on each side. Check out the chest just to see what it has. So, kind of like the armor trim. And more arrows there. Of course, with our infinity, we shouldn't need that. We should be able to fire as many arrows as we want. And it's still there. Alright, but that takes care of this level. Take a quick look down. Don't see anybody there, so we'll go ahead and break that one. Nobody hanging out here either. 2 torches ought to be enough to light up this area. And once again, we'll go down. Nobody here. Place our torches on each of the 4 sides. Alright, now we've got some pillagers. I know what I should have done. Should have given my bow power 5. That's a lot of pillagers. Alright, we should be able to pick them off here. Now the problem with this approach is once we start attacking, it's probably going to bring more of them in. I also should have brought some food with me. And I think these guys are just going to keep on coming, so... Get rid of this guy, and then I'll try a different approach if there's many more here. Might be clear. Alright. And I should have had my walls ready now that I'm down here. We're going to go on the 3rd block over from the exit and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a pillager there. I should have... Oh, wait a minute. Let's fill this in. I'll come back to the walls in a moment. Light this area up. There we go. And I'm going to go back up to the top for a moment. Use some more temporary blocks, I think. And let's go ahead and build some iron golems. That's not where I wanted it. That's annoying. I'll have to go down and grab that one in a moment. Alright, so we are ready. We're going to have 4 iron golems here. And I'm going to drop 1 on each side. There we go. Iron golems don't take any fall damage, so they'll be just fine. But they should keep the pillagers occupied while I build my wall. Okay. Alright, so we counted 8 and then 7, and we're going to do another 8 and 7. Make up our iron block, and once again, okay, we're centered there. We skip 1 and we do 8 and 7. That's our center one. We skip, and we'll do 8 and 7 this way. Okay, so we've got 4 extras. We're going to use those in the center, actually. But while we're here, let's go ahead and place a temporary block there. There we go. And we're going to place a trapdoor there, and one more on top of that. Break the temporary block, and let's repeat on the other the other 3 sides. So the second trapdoor, that's just to keep any pillagers from sneaking in while we're working on the rest of this farm. So often you'll see that the people building these farms dig out the area underneath first. We'll get to that soon. I think this is a little bit better. So I've got these 4 iron golems, and they're going to take care of any pillagers for me. There we go. And now I can go back inside, and I can work on the rest of the farm. We'll go ahead and dig out the center. We're going to go down 3. And we can start digging 9 blocks in each direction. By the way, I'm going to place a torch there. Alright, now on the 9th block, we're going to go ahead and dig 1 more to each side. And I'm going to go ahead and dig down 1 more for these 3 and for these 2. Then I'm going to go ahead and put in a double chest. And put in my hoppers. And I can put in my campfires. And I can do all this in safety down here. And then when I'm ready, I can break these 3 blocks. Add 1 more trapdoor up there. And I'm going to open it up. So our pillagers are going to think they can walk over. Also going to add 1 more block right there to make sure they don't come into our hallway. And then we'll repeat this on the other 3 sides. Okay, so that's 2 done. And the 4th side. Forgot to place a block here. There we go. Alright. So that is our collection system done. And then basically pick a random side, and you can go up right here. I kind of like to go to the diagonal, so I'm going to pick this spot. And we're going to grab our scaffolding. And go up 3 blocks, and here you can see, right to the diagonal of the center. I'm going to go ahead and grab this block and put it back here. We'll need a temporary block and our last 4 walls around it. And I don't think we're going to need our 6th iron golem. I'm going to go ahead and build this one here. Don't want you there, fall into the middle. There we go. Glad he didn't wander off. But now that we've got our iron golem here, he's going to draw the pillagers in. So go ahead and break these dirt blocks. Don't see any pillagers around right now. But the next step in our process, and this can be a dangerous part as well, hopefully we've still got a few iron golems wandering around keeping our pillagers busy, but we're going to go ahead and clear out the bottom 3 rows of this outpost. So that's this row, and this row. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the interior parts. You could bring an axe if you want to get rid of these wood bits a little bit faster. Pillager saw me, tried to come this way, and fell into the trap. Okay, I'm going to break these steps. There we go. So that clears the interior part for the bottom 3 levels, and now we're going to expose ourselves a bit more by clearing out this wall. We can kind of keep ourselves a little bit safer by staying near the edges. Once again, an axe would be useful here. So while I'm breaking these, just going to review again, the pillagers spawn in areas of light level 7 or lower, but that's block light, not skylight. So it doesn't matter if it's the middle of the day like it is now, they can keep on spawning. There's also, not sure I understand exactly how it works, but they are more likely to spawn on grass or sand. Or rather, it's easier for them to spawn on those blocks. So there's a lot of grass around. As long as we have the torches, we should be safe inside our wall. Just watch out for any pillagers that come close. Fortunately, they don't like to shoot until they're within 8 blocks. So as long as we're staying inside this wall here, we're mostly safe. If one does get close, we just step away, and he should try to follow and wind up in the trap on whichever side he's on. Collecting a lot of extra blocks here, and we're almost done. Not sure which side he's on. There he is. Somebody's shooting. Oh, he wound up inside. How did that happen? Oh, anyway, because we haven't put the rest of our torches in up here. Let's add a few more torches. Actually, one on the corners and the center along this line of cobblestone. There we go. You can put extras in, but that should keep this whole area lit. Keep them from spawning in here. Go. And I don't see any of my iron golems anymore. They may have wandered off or they may have died. But we're going to go ahead. Oops. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. Now we can go up. I'm going to put one more scaffolding there. And from here we'll take the stairs. Find our center block. And we're basically going to go up with the remainder of our scaffolding. Alright, now that we've put those in place, let's go ahead and go up to the top. Alright, now that we're up here at the top, there shouldn't be anything spawning further out from our pillager outpost, and only pillagers can spawn in that area, so we shouldn't have anything else spawning. And I'm going to go ahead and place a temporary block on the side here. And I usually use a half slab. I could use stairs. I've got a wood half slab, that'll work. And we'll put a half slab on the bottom there. Get rid of these temporary blocks. There we go. And that should protect us from any phantoms because we are undercover, so they will not spawn. But we could stay up here. And any pillagers that spawn down there on the ground should see our iron golem and head into our traps. That said, there is still one more thing we can do to improve the rate significantly. So let's head back down and I'll show you what we can do. Alright, now you can see there are a lot of pillagers out there, but they are not without seeing our iron golem. And so at this point I would actually probably run back over there to get some more materials. But first I'm just kind of curious. Let's see how our farm is actually doing. So we've got one almost all over here. 3 over here. 2 here. And 3 over here. There we go. Alright. Nope. No wonder it's not working. I had pillagers show up in here. I'm glad I've got an extra iron golem to build. Alright. Get this guy in as quick as I can. There we go. And I'm not sure how those guys came in here, so I'm just going to spread some more torches around. There we go. A lot more torches. Hopefully that keeps them from spawning in here. I'll do some more research later. I'll let you know if I figure out how that happened. I'm going to get rid of these vines too while I'm here. I don't think they'll actually block visibility or anything. Have to break those up at the top. Iron Golem hurts. Somebody got in there again. So the only other thing I can think to do is to replace these grass blocks, because they do allow villagers to spawn in some circumstances that these other blocks don't. I don't want to really bother with that right now though, so I'm going to go back up. Let's double check, make sure I don't have any more vines growing in awkward places. Okay, so that should be good there. Alright, now we're going to go back this way. And I'm going to show you the next step. Alright, now that we're back over here, let me grab my stash. Definitely time to get something to eat here. Looks like my iron golem may be dead again, so I think I'm going to have to replace all those grass blocks. I suppose we could cover them over with half slabs as well. Villagers would still think they can get over. But the next thing we're going to want to do is to make the whole area around the pillager outpost as flat as possible. And for that, I would recommend having some TNT and some pressure plates. I'll go ahead and get rid of these. Alright, now that I've organized some inventory, let's go back up. And let's eat some more steak. Nope. While I'm here, I am going to need another iron golem. First things first, we're going to go back in and make another iron golem and see if we can spawn-proof that area inside the pillager outpost. Wow. Killed him by hitting him in the hand. Alright. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and start replacing these blocks. Oops, that's not what I wanted there. Alright, so no more grass inside my wall. Let's see if that keeps my iron golem safe. Oh, and don't need that up there anymore. So I'm going to break that one so that I can jump out. This is the dangerous part, and this is where we might want to use one more iron golem. If you remember, I used 4, placed one here, and I had one more at the beginning. I wound up needing to replace this one a few times, but this is where I would consider using that 6th one, or more if you want. But we want everything to be flat. Alright, so that's 21 blocks out from our hole there. And we kind of want to fill a lot of this up so that pillagers don't spawn down here. And then when we go up in our AFK spot, we don't have to worry too much about these caves. But we want to fill in quite a bit, at least near the surface, to make this flat. And then you'd probably want a shovel to go through this as quick as possible. Get rid of these areas that are just a little bit higher. And if you have an area that's even higher, I would hit it with B. Alright, so a long time later, you can see I've flattened out all of that land, so 21 blocks from each of those 4 pits. So I had to raise some land over that way and drop it over here, of course. But at this point, we should start getting a significantly higher result. Almost all of our pillagers, especially when we're up there in our AFK zone, they will spawn inside that area somewhere, and they will go right for the iron golem, and we will get their drops. And so all of the captain pillagers will drop an ominous bottle, sometimes the banner, but we don't really care about that one. Anyway, give me one more moment here. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more work here. So the next step after we flatten that area is to turn all of that cobblestone or anything that's not dirt or grass into dirt and grass. Eventually the grass will all spread. And I'll check in with you again in just a moment. Alright, so you can see I replaced all the stone and anything else in that area down there with dirt, which is now covered over with grass on all 4 sides. And I also decreased my AFK altitude by 31 blocks. And from here you can see a lot better that these pillagers just keep running on in. So I know my iron golem is still there. And I've been sitting up here for, probably 30-45 minutes. But let's go down and take a look and see how things are going. Alright, as we come to the top of the pillager outpost, you can see we've got a lot of pillagers who are spawning just a little bit further out now, and they don't see the iron golem right away. let's go ahead and go down. Alright, here we can see we have our iron golem. Any pillagers that happen to spawn close enough in this area here are going to come. Those guys are a little further, but they saw me up against the wall. But yeah, on this platform that we leveled out, they're going to see the iron golem come and try to attack him, but before they get in range, they're going to fall into our traps. And let's see how we're doing with our collection system. By the way, I did add a few glass blocks. I noticed that when they die in the campfire, sometimes the items would drop in this space where they don't get collected. But you can see in just 30-45 minutes plus the time it took to flatten everything out and replace those stone with grass. Alright, so in that time we've gathered up, let's see here, 3, 4, and 5, so 27 Bad Omen 1, 37 Bad Omen 2, 28 Bad Omen 3, 44 Bad Omen 4, and 36 Bad Omen 5. Alright, so altogether that is 172, and I'd want to use the Bad Omen 5 or use those on the raid farm that I think I'm going to go ahead and show for you guys next time. And then the lower levels, Bad Omen 1, maybe even 2 or 3, I would use those on trial chambers. That was in my last video. But anyway, as you can see, it does not take long for this farm to start providing a significant number of Bad Omen bottles. But to get those full effects, we do need to flatten that whole area out. And of course, make sure that we have this area spawn-proofed. And then we would just want to AFK up top. By the way, at the top I do still have that half slab way up at the original height, but that's okay, it still protects us from phantoms. So we are good to hang out up here as long as we want. And again, we can just kind of creep over to the edge and start watching these pillagers run into our trap. Anyway, I do want to thank you for watching, and once again, this is Epic Blocks.